Wow. Color me surprised.
What?
Speaker has balls after all.
Go and walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down.
Kicks Dems off committees. But they're vowing revenge.
You serious?
Yeah. Right. I'm Jazz Borganzo, and this is What's Next. Hey guys, Jazz Borganzo, what's next? How you guys doing today? Well, I'm not the only one who had issue with one Kevin McCarthy, representative out of California. You know, he decided to go for speaker, and of course there was this big old brouhaha. You had 20 GOP members of the House, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, who basically said, we don't want McCarthy. After going back and forth, a 15-round vote, he finally got in. Well, of course, there were stipulations for him getting in, and hopefully the Republican members will hold his feet to the fire. Well, it turns out McCarthy, so far, so good. Didn't know the man had a pair of balls on him. Well, it turns out he does, because one of his very first things that he did regarding the Intel Committee was kick all the Democratic ass clowns off. Oh yes. Yeah. He finally grew a pair. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Adam Schiff, who was one of the members of the Intel Committee, Pencil Neck, vows revenge as Kevin McCarthy blocks him. Swalwell, swallows well, Fang, from the Intel Committee. Representative Adam Schiff vows revenge after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy indicated he would keep Schiff and Swalwell off the House Intelligence Committee. No, he kicked them off. McCarthy just kicked me off, and Swalwell too. This is petty political payback for investigating the Trump, Schiff tweeted. If he thinks this will stop me, he will soon find out just how wrong he is. I will always defend democracy. Ooh, says the Pencil Neck. Kevin McCarthy just kicked me and Swalwell off the Intelligence Committee. Of course, petty. I think this will stop me. Democracy and bullshit. Earlier in the month, McCarthy indicated to reporters that he plans to follow through on his promise to keep Schiff for brains and swallows well of the Intel Committee. During his time as chairman of the Intel Committee, Schiff promoted debunked Trump-Russia collusion. Further, while serving as lead impeachment manager, Schiff famously read out a made-up call between Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. I come to rape you. Can I have some more money, please? For dramatic effect, and Democrats moving to impeach Trump. Schiff openly lied to the American public, McCarthy told a reporter at a press conference earlier this month. He puts America 4 years through an impeachment that he knew was a lie at the same time we had Ukraine, the same time we had Afghan collapse. What was the role of the Intel Committee? No. On the other hand, Swallows, Fang, caught flack from McCarthy over his intimate sexual relationship. Chinese spy. Let me phrase something very direct to you. If you got a briefing that I got from the FBI, you won't have Swalwell in any committee, McCarthy told reporters. He cannot get a security clearance in the private sector. If you knew what I knew. When Republicans held the minority and previously in Congress, McCarthy consistently pledged to keep Schiff and Swalwell off the Intel Committee if GOP regained the majority and controlled the speakership. Quote, I'll promise you this, when I'm speaker, Schiff will not be on the Intel Committee anymore, McCarthy told Fox News in June. And you know what else? Sure, we're going to keep Swalwell well off there either. I don't know if this is a high bar, but if you have a relationship with a Chinese spy, you shouldn't be allowed on the Intel Committee. In my opinion, I would have just added or in Congress at all. But then again, if there were morals in Congress, half of them would be in prison right now.
I received a letter from the Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries about the Intel Committee. I will be sending him a response back a little later tonight, but let me be very clear. This is not anything political. This is not similar to what the Democrats did. Those members will have other committees, but the Intel Committee is different. The Intel Committee's responsibility is the national security to America. Look, I respect Hakeem Jeffries' support of his conference and his people, but integrity matters. And they have failed in that place, from Adam Schiff using a position of the Intel chair, lying to the American public again and again. You had the Inspector General say it. You watched the editorial in the Wall Street Journal. And I'm sorry. Swalwell, you all know, does not have the, or should have the responsibility to serve on the Intel Committee. When the FBI comes to you when he gets appointed to and warns you about what's transpiring, when Eric Swalwell would be in the private sector and can't get a security clearance there, we are not going to provide him with the secrets to America. Hakeem Jeffrey has 200 other people who can serve on that committee. This is the right of the Speaker, and the one thing I will always do, I will put the national security ahead of partisan politics any day. I don't care if they're in my party or not. Integrity matters, and we're going to make the Intel Committee back to what it was supposed to be. No longer will we miss what happened in Afghanistan. No longer will we miss what's happening in China, Russia, Iran, and others. That's what this country believes should happen, and this is what we'll do. I'll also be having those on the Intel Committee, Republican and Democrat alike, take the courses for AI and quantum, the same courses that our generals in our military take as well, because we want to be able to speak with one voice and make sure our country and the national security is protected. And that's how we move forward.
Good for McCarthy. Good for McCarthy to grow a pair, take some testosterone and walk in there and say, hey, you know what, Schiffer brains, you know what, swallows well. And turns out that little Miss Omar from Minnesota, she got booted off too. Of course, that wasn't in this story, but yeah, she got kicked off too. So good for him for standing by his guns, for doing what he promised when spoke about in June if he were to become Speaker. So hopefully this, along with a couple of other things that he's done recently, continue to snowball. And hopefully, according to Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Chip Roy out of Texas, hopefully that this will just snowball into better things and trying to get the House finally straight instead of being the ass kissers that they have been pretty much for the better part of the last decade. But it's a great start. I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.